welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. You know what Christy Mathewson wasn't worried about? SIERA. When you're thinking about Pedro Siriaco, I mean, the only one that can compete is maybe Hannes Wagner's 1908 season. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Curran.
Like, if we just clip together every time we've talked about him on other people's profiles, we've done a Mickey Cochran episode.
I can't get past Rabbit Marinville. It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio, where we're talking baseball kind of whenever. I'm your host, Chris Gianta. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Curran. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I am doing well today. It's been a week since our last show. I had some travels over the weekend that I was busy with. I didn't go to a Red Sox game. That was not awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great time. I had no idea. Admittedly, it's on me. I had no idea the U.S. Open was going on. And that parking at Fenway would be a nightmare to the degree of taking an hour to find any parking spot, which happened to be 25 minutes away from the ballpark, and eventually giving up.
Yeah. It just so happened that Daniel and I were already planning on going to the same game without knowing the other was going to the Red Sox A's Thursday afternoon game. And then, we decided, get the same tickets, sit together with my mother as well. And, well, I didn't even know about the golf thing. My mom did, but we barely got parking. And then after we got parking, it was hard to imagine other people getting parking.
Yeah.
And that was really bad. That was really tough. I felt very bad.
Yeah. However, something did come out of my weekend of travel. We got an interview with a Major League Baseball player.
Yes. Daniel went to Worcester, Massachusetts at Polar Park, the home of the Worcester Red Sox, AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox. And there was the Toledo Mud Hens, which are the AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers, and doing a rehab assignment, known most for having the seventh highest FWAR among third basemen from the start of 2022 through the end of 2021, right between Nolan Arenado and Matt Chapman, was Jeimer Candelario, who was doing a rehab assignment for the Toledo Mud Hens, and or at least was on the Toledo Mud Hens. Yes. And Daniel got a couple minutes with him, about a minute 27 to be exact, as he said. We're gonna pop over that interview right now.
So, first of all, just health-wise, how you doing right now?
Recovering and playing, getting my rhythm the right way, and make sure that my shoulders are the right way.
Sure. So you're here for a rehab assignment right now. On the field, has the approach changed at all? Or are you kind of just working your way to get to a point where you're healthy enough to be back up in Detroit?
For sure. You want to. That's the reason I'm here. I'm working hard to prepare myself to be the help that I can to help the team win.
Absolutely. Once you get back to Detroit, are you? Is there anything in particular you're looking to improve on?
We always got to improve and everything, So I just want to improve that, helping my team win. Mm-hmm. Be there for contribute with the team, and just produce, bro. You got to produce.
Yeah, and obviously when you get back up there, things are going to be a little different, of course. Riley Greene getting called up yesterday, the organizational top prospect, and you got a brief chance to play with him down here. So what are you looking forward to seeing out of him?
Doing his thing, keep doing what he continued to do, hit the ball, catch the ball, run the bases. It's the same thing.
Awesome. And how excited are you to play with him?
I'm excited. I'm excited for him, for his family, and for the team. It's a good key for the team in the future, and can't wait to head doing good.
So that was my very brief interaction with Jeimer Candelario. He had just finished warm-ups at third base, and I greeted him at the third base dugout about an hour and a half before the game, and we had that quick little interaction. I wanted to try to keep it brief because, I'm sure he wasn't too thrilled with being down in AAA, and I think he's kind of just focused on himself. So I tried to make it as brief as possible, and I think I did my job there. But I asked, he agreed to do it, and I asked him if he had a minute or two, and that was what came after. So much appreciation to Jeimer Candelario for making a quick stop on ARR.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Jeimer Candelario.
Yeah, and also shout out to Nico Fasella. If you're listening, you know why.
Yeah.
But you're welcome.
Yeah. Also my 2022 Tigers player to watch. So
yes,
we'll crossover with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, great stuff there. And our first topic of the day is going to be concerning another AL Central team, the Cleveland Guardians, who I believe both of us had before the season started. We both had them in fourth, but also to be fair to us, we weren't like.
I also said that was the hardest division to pick, 1 through 5.
It was.
I stand by that.
Stingent on them being like a bad team, just happened to have a couple teams ahead of them, but still, I think we would both agree overperforming right now. Did they just win a series against the Dodgers?
Yes, they did.
They just won a series against the Dodgers
at Chavez Ravine as well.
And as well as that, they've won 15 of their last 19, which is pretty incredible. They now stand 6 games above 500, and I think if the season ended today, they would have a playoff spot.
They would. They are actually 1 game behind the Twins for the AL Central lead.
Yeah, if the Guardians are doing well, that makes the AL Central like very, very interesting. It's already been interesting with the White Sox underperforming, but yeah, that's a pretty firm player. But
also intriguing is that the Guardians and Twins play each other this week. It's going to be at Minnesota.
Yeah. Is it this weekend?
No, it's starting tonight.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess I'll point out.
The Guardians also have the 4th highest run differential in the American League, only behind the Yankees, Red Sox, and Astros.
Yeah, that's
very impressive.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So what are you thinking about this run by the Cleveland Guardians?
So every time there's a team that's going on some sort of run, whether it's good or bad, we take a look at when the streak really started and who's been performing since. And of course, Jose Ramirez has been the primary catalyst, whatever you want to call it, since then. Since May 28th, which is our starting date here. He has a 206 weighted runs created plus. He almost has a 700 slugging percentage. Also has a BSR above 1 base running stat. Also, solid-ish defense. He is making this one of the best American League MVP races we've seen in a while. Between him, Judge, Devers, and Trout, like it's anyone's game between those 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is exciting.
It's pretty wild, and like Jose Ramirez, I think the general public has underrated him a little bit. I think he's getting some more attention now, which is really good to see, and it's very well deserved because, you mentioned 206 weighted runs created plus during the stretch, but you also mentioned the base running, and he has pretty quality defense as well, or at least he has in his career up to this point. And he's been a very good all-around player, as well as a great power hitter, which is a pretty incredible combination. And yeah, to see him in the midst of an MVP race with some guys from some big market teams like Aaron Judge and Rafael Devers, that's something you gotta love to see. In fact, I think as of yesterday, he had more F4 than Aaron Judge, but that might be the same
behind Devers though.
Yeah, I think Devers is leading the AL in
Yes.
F4, which is pretty wild. But yeah, Jose Ramirez, obviously, if when the Guardians are doing good, you can kind of bank on Jose Ramirez being the forefront of that. We kind of saw that at the beginning of the season, along with Stephen Kwan.
Yes.
But yeah, going with some more individual statistics. I'm looking at or actually I should probably go back to May 28th because I was looking at since May.
I'll tell you what I'm
30th.
looking at while you're going back, but I'm looking at those two guys that Cleveland got in the Francisco Lindor trade. I'm looking at Andres Jimenez and I'm looking at Ahmed Rosario because they've both been excellent in this time. Ahmed, we saw him in left at the beginning of the season, and it was a struggle, understandably. He was brought up as a shortstop. They have a lot of middle infielders, especially on that left side. So, it was kind of hard to find a place for him. But his defense over this time has been better. They've moved him back to shortstop in this time, which it makes sense because, the left field, he didn't play left field a ton, but when he did, it was noticeable for bad reasons, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And yeah, the Guardians have really come into their own defensively, and this kind of transitions into like the success that the Guardians are finding are in like kind of weird ways. Like they're, well, not weird ways, but unconventional ways. Usually if you're thinking about a team succeeding, it's like, oh, they probably have a pretty high OPS, and they probably have a very good run prevention, and as a that's because they have like a good fielding and independent pitching. But I believe they are 15th in weighted runs created plus since May 30th, or I think May 30th and May 28th. They're 15th in weighted runs created plus, which so then you assume like, oh, they've had some great pitching, but they're also like middle of the pack in FIP. And where they've stood out is their base running and their defense. I'm looking at since May 30th, they have the most defensive runs above average, and it's not even close. As a team, they have 6.9 defensive runs above average. The next best has 2.8. That's the San Diego Padres. So that's pretty incredible. And, as you mentioned, was it Andres Jimenez or Ahmed Rosario who made the positional switch?
Ahmed Rosario switched back to shortstop, and his defense has been better. But Andres Jimenez offensively has been one of the breakout stars, not just on this team, but really in the league.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially lately. And then another team stat since May 30th, Cleveland is third in BSR, which is a base running stat. So like, they haven't been, to go back to the team stuff, like they haven't been just hammering the baseball. They haven't been, striking the world out from a pitching perspective, but they've been playing great defense, and they've been doing great on the bases, and it's just seemed to have worked. But yeah, going back to Andres Jimenez, he's been pretty incredible since May 28th. Jimenez has a 165 weighted runs created plus, and he also has 1.8 defensive runs above average, which is very impressive in a small span like this. Yeah, he's been pretty wild.
Yeah, he has a 165 weighted runs created plus from May 28th to now, almost a full win above replacement, a 525 slugging percentage, and also some solid defense. Where has he been playing defensively? Is he at second for this team?
If Rosario's at short, I would imagine he'd be playing second base.
Yeah, because I would have to assume that Ramirez is obviously at third.
Yeah,
looks like Jimenez. Yeah, he's been at second. That's a really good infield as a whole, because Josh Naylor, actually he's an outfielder, but it's those three, Ahmed Rosario, Andres Jimenez, Jose Ramirez. You also have some other guys, like playing first over there for them. Yeah, it has been Josh Naylor. I thought so.
Yeah.
And he has a 137 OPS plus on the season. He also had that amazing game against the White Sox back in like April or May.
Yeah. And Yeah, Cleveland's always interesting. Like, they're never like, I'm not saying that they're a powerhouse or like they're anywhere near where they were at in like 2016, 2017, 2018, but like they always keep it interesting throughout the season. They're always just kind of there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it used to be a dominant starting pitching staff. That's not really the case anymore. They don't have the strikeout machines that they used to have with Corey Kluber, Mike Clevenger, even Trevor Bauer. But it's been defense based running, and just being competent in with pitching and
A bit of fortune as well.
Offense from the batter's box perspective.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty much a lot of little things that have gone right, and then the offense and pitching have kind of just found themselves in the right spots a lot of the time. And when you have guys like that are stepping up, Ramirez, Jimenez, or Rosario, Naylor, you're gonna find a lot of success when those little things are going right. And especially in a weaker division like the AL Central, you can really climb to the top. And I looked at their schedule; they have played some. Their competition hasn't been the greatest. Like I think they've won 6 series in a row, and it's been against like the Royals, the Rangers, the A's, the Rockies. They did beat the Dodgers, but the Dodgers even have been struggling in the month of June.
Yeah.
So it's
true.
I think I think you could honestly, if you really wanted to, you can make a case that right now the Twins might be the bigger measuring stick because of the way the Dodgers have been playing as of late.
Yeah, true. Especially like
of course the Dodgers are the better team. Like I don't think anyone's going to try to refute that, but
also,
recency
like,
bias. They're 7-11 in their last 18 games.
yeah, because first of all, they're trending in the wrong direction right now, and second of all, Bueller just hit the IL, Betts just hit the IL. They Turner hasn't been what he's been.
Either Turner.
There have been some Justin Turner is have to specify.
But you could probably say the same about Trey. I mean, he's been fine, but not Trey Turner level.
Yeah, not on track to lead the league in F4. And then I should acknowledge some of the pitching stars, because I did kind of downplay their pitching a little bit, because they have, as a team, they have like a FIP of about 4 since May 30th. However, like they do have their stars. Shane Bieber, he has a 1.95 FIP in his last 5 starts. Emmanuel Clase, in his last since May 30th, he has 12 appearances, all scoreless, and he has a 104 FIP, 10 and a half strikeouts per 9, and 0.75 walks per 9. And then I guess a surprise guy would be Eli Morgan.
Yes.
He, in this span, he has 10 appearances, 13 1/3 innings pitched, no earned runs allowed, and a 208 FIP. He has 12.15 strikeouts per 9 and 2 walks per 9. So yeah, there's been there has been some star power, but like that's not the main reason they're 15-4. They've just been collectively very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of, just like I said, the little things that are going right.
Yep.
And I mean, it'll be interesting to see how long they can keep this up. This is definitely one of the more curious cases of, is this team that's been playing well legit / this team that has not been playing well not legit, that we've seen in the history of ARR.
Yeah,
I think it's possible. I think that it's like they have a 70% chance to make the postseason right now, according to Baseball Reference.
Yeah, I don't think they factor it differently than like
they do.
Fangraphs.
People usually use Fangraphs more. I'll have to check what Fangraphs has them at right now.
I know one of them doesn't factor like just the straight up roster. I think they just factor like how much, or like how much they've won, or like I don't know. But
2022 playoff odds. The Guardians currently have they have a 41% chance to make the playoffs on Fangraphs. They still have the White Sox with a 59% chance, which makes sense. But they're 32-33. They're projected 85 wins to win the division. Wow. That's very funny.
Yep, AL Central. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of teams where the season is made more interesting because of the extra playoff spot, and Guardians are definitely one of those teams.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I mean, they're playing pretty well. So yeah, definitely watch that.
This is interesting. Fangraphs has the Astros with a higher chance to win the World Series than the Yankees.
Yeah,
it's 13.9 to 13.8, so it's not like it's an alarming amount, but that's intriguing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I had the Astros better than the Yankees before the season started, and so I think it just factors where Fangraphs thinks they should have been versus where they are right now.
Yeah,
a little bit, like it balances the two. So yeah.
Random thought. This is completely non-related, but who do we think is going to be headlining the home run derby this year? Because Aaron Judge already said he's not doing it. It's got to be Pete Alonso, just because.
Yeah, I think Pete Alonso should just play against himself.
Yeah,
he
I'm looking at the home run leaderboards.
Himself.
You know who'd be great? Yordan Alvarez.
Oh,
that would be sick.
That would be so fun.
I'm looking at the home run leaderboard. So people that could possibly do it, like Byron Buxton, maybe Alonso, maybe. I don't think Rizzo would do it at this point. Yordan Alvarez, Austin Riley, Kyle Schwarber, Christian Walker has 18. I don't think he's gonna get an invite though.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It'd be very funny because they always seed based on amount of home runs. It'd be very funny if Christian Walker just comes in as the 2 seed.
Yeah, very true.
CJ.
I'm looking at the barrel rate leaderboards.
Yeah.
Did
Vlad Jr. decline last year? I can't imagine
he had to. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was healthy. Because he literally hit a 468-foot home run the next day.
Yeah.
And there's no way they just didn't invite him.
I think he led in. Or no, Ohtani did, but I think he was right below Ohtani in home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, barrel rate leaderboards have Judge, Stanton, Trout, Schwarber, Gallo. Gallo's not getting invited. Jock Peterson.
He's been twice already.
Ronald Acuna Jr. And this is barrel rate, so it's it's not a count stat.
Yes.
Ronald Acuna Jr., Byron Buxton, Gary Sanchez, funnily enough, Shohei, Yordan Alvarez, Jazz Chisholm. That would be pretty cool.
Jazz would be a dope one for sure.
He would bring a party. Patrick Wisdom.
That'd be very underwhelming.
Austin Riley, Willie Adames,
Ryan Mountcastle.
Yeah, Christian Walker, Ryan Mountcastle, Franmil Reyes, Ryan Jeffers, of course. He has a 15.6% barrel rate, I guess. And then right behind him is Christian Bethancourt, and that's where I'll stop.
Of course. Yeah. I think we gotta have Alonso and Alvarez as the 1 and 2 seeds.
Yeah.
No doubt. That'd be a sick final.
Yeah, a shame that
if those two are in it, 99% of baseball fans would pick one of those two. The only other 1% would be fans of the team on the 8 seed. It's I want that guy because he's on my favorite team.
Yeah. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, almost in a weird way, almost a shame that Yordan Alvarez got that extension because he's not gonna care about the $1 million.
Yeah. It's true.
From the home run derby. That was one of the great things about getting Pete Alonso and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in 2019. 2 rookies. They hadn't.
Unfortunately, Pete Alonso is ARB eligible now, so he will not be getting more from the home run derby.
Yeah. That won't be 2/3 of his yearly salary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he likes that stuff, and I don't think it really messes up his swing too much anyway. So
I would also love to just push the narrative that no one else would be pushing of, oh my God, Jordan's doing the home run derby at Dodger Stadium. They traded him, remember?
oh
This could have been their guy.
yeah, very true.
They had to get Josh Fields instead.
It's crazy that happened.
It would be dope if MLB invited O'Neal Cruz to be the 8th seed.
They should.
Because I like people forget the 1 seed has not made it out of the first round since I believe 2016. Because Stanton lost to Sanchez in 2017. Jesus Aguilar lost to Rhys Hoskins in 2018. Matt Chapman lost to Vlad Jr. in 2019.
Yeah.
Because Christian Yelich got hurt, and then Shohei lost to Juan Soto last year. So like O'Neal Cruz as an 8 seed would be a fun 8 seed.
Well, I mean, like, thinking back to 2019, like Vladdy was in that, and he had played for 2 months, so it wouldn't be too different.
Yeah. But also O'Neal Cruz is, I mean, I'm assuming the invites are going to go out in like a couple weeks. They're probably going out now, actually.
That's true.
O'Neal's probably getting his invite as we speak, because I can't imagine they invited him when he was in AAA.
Yeah.
Would be very funny. From the Indianapolis Indians, O'Neal Cruz.
That's fun.
He just comes in with his AAA jersey and just hits like 37 home runs in the first round, all with an exit velocity above 110.
Yeah. It's like, we can't wait to see you in the majors whenever that happens.
Just wait till he's on the Pirates.
Yeah.
But he's on there now, so that's cool.
Yeah, he is. Made his
second major league debut.
Second major league debut.
Last night. Had a 3-run triple. That was, by the way, did you see that 3-run triple he hit?
I did not.
It was just a straight line drive.
Dang.
Yeah, it was hit 112 miles an hour.
He's so exciting.
Like off the bat, it looked like it would have just been fielded by the center fielder, but it just went in the gap because it was hit so hard that I think it was Christopher Morel just couldn't track it down in time.
Yeah.
And no one could have.
Right.
But it was, and then of course there was that throw from shortstop that I think everyone saw, 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's already just so fun to watch.
He's a freak.
It's just why it's crazy to see. Like, I know we talk about like the it's very cliche to talk about like Aaron Judge's size, but like it's different seeing a 6'7" gangly shortstop out there just tossing a ball like a hundo across the diamond.
Yeah, a non-pitcher that's throwing 96. Side note, while we're on this topic, we have the All-Star ballot standings as of right now, like the first update.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so I'm just going to read this off. I'm seeing this for the first time as all of you. So in the American League, Vlad Jr. is leading first place votes, even though Ty France is more deserving. By the way, Vlad almost has 1 million votes already, and Ty France is at second with just less than 600,000. So that race is already over. Vlad Jr. will be the starting first baseman for the AL.
Are they still doing the segmented?
They are. But I mean, if he's up by this much, I don't see why.
I guess, yeah.
So first base, the standings are Vlad Jr., Ty France, Anthony Rizzo, Luis Arraez, and Yuli Gurriel. I guarantee the Yankees are going to have at least one person at every position.
The fact that Gurriel is in that.
Yeah, facts. That's horrendous.
He was my slightly alarming.
At second base, Jose Altuve. Santiago Espinal is second. That's a underrated good move.
Oh, yeah.
Andres Jimenez, Gleyber Torres, Trevor Story. That's the rankings. Third base. Wow, it is close. Rafael Devers is at 727,000. Jose Ramirez is at 711.
Yeah, even though I'm a Red Sox fan, I like to see Jose Ramirez getting proper attention.
Yeah. Honestly, there really isn't a wrong answer between those two.
That's
in my opinion. Correct. And then it's Matt Chapman, DJ LeMahieu, Alex Bregman, even though Bregman is, Yeah. This one's tough. That's got to change. Who do you think is leading at AL shortstop?
First
go over everyone who do you think deserves to start at AL shortstop.
Well, Bogarts is up there.
He's third.
Yeah, Bogarts is up there. I'm trying to think of because I mean Jeremy Pena.
He's fourth.
He would be up there.
Yeah.
Is Bichette having a good year?
He's doing all right. Now he is, I believe, like around 1.5 F4.
Okay. So there's that.
There was the guy that both of us voted for when we went over our all-star ballots. Or no, wait, you did NL. I voted for this guy.
AL shortstop.
Yeah.
AL shortstop. Is he well known?
Yes.
Just go ahead.
Tim Anderson.
Okay, yeah. That makes
Yeah. Anyway, Bo Bichette's leading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was 585,000. Tim Anderson's at 528. Bogart's 525. One of those two. Anyway, outfield. Outfield is not much of a surprise. Judge is number 1. Trout's number 2. Springer's number 3. Stanton 4. And then Taylor Ward, Byron Buxton, Lourdes Gurriel, Teoscar Hernandez. Blue Jays fans really showed out for this. Michael Brantley, Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker should be higher.
He should be higher. That's the AL. Okay, and then for
overall, Kyle Tucker's like top 10 in F4.
The only person with 1 million votes is Alejandro Kirk in the AL.
Yeah.
Jonah Heim is not even top 5. It's Kirk, Jose Trevino, Salvador Perez, who's third, Martin Maldonado, Christian Vasquez. And then and then the DH, it goes Alvarez, Ohtani, JD, Danny Jansen, Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera is still 5th. It's very funny. Also, Danny Jansen being listed as a DH, did not realize that was the thing. In the NL, first base is good. Paul Goldschmidt, Pete Alonso, Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer should not be top 5, but there's a steep drop off between 4 and 5, so it's whatever. Second base, Jazz Chisholm, Ozzy Albies, who won't be in the All-Star game. Jeff McNeil, Gavin Lux, Nolan Gorman. Seeing Jazz start would be very cool.
Yeah, very true.
Third base, Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, Austin Riley, Justin Turner, Eduardo Escobar. I have no complaints in the NL so far.
Yep.
Pretty legit. Okay, now, well, I wouldn't say I have complaints, but shortstop, Trey Turner, Dansby Swanson, Francisco Lindor, Tommy Edman, Fernando Tatis Jr. Fernando Tatis Jr. is still 5th. That's very funny.
Now I want to vote for him. I want to vote him in the All-Star game.
He has no shot. Trey Turner is 811,000. He is 165. Trey Turner is a pretty steep lead. I guess that really speaks to how weak the NL shortstop class has been.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that is probably not a bad pick. Ooh,
Yeah,
outfield
true.
is interesting. Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna Jr., Jock Peterson are the starters as of right now. Following are Starling Marte, Adam Duvall. Starling Marte, Juan Soto, Adam Duvall, who's higher than he should be. Mark Canha, Marcelo Zuna, Cody Bellinger, Harrison Bader. Brian Reynolds. I mean, I guess he hasn't having the greatest year, but that's a snub for top 10.
Right.
Like, I don't have enough time right now to process who the snubs are off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff McNeil is definitely a snub. Surprised that they got Starlin Marte and Mark Canha there, but not him. Yeah, actually, he might be listed as a different position. That's probably why.
Yeah, it might be a second baseman or something.
At catcher, Wilson Contreras, Travis d'Arnaud, Yadier Molina is 4th. Or is 3rd.
Of course.
Tyler Stevenson, Will Smith. Cool. DH, Bryce Harper has a massive lead. William Contreras is 2nd. Albert Pujols is 3rd. I have a feeling Albert Pujols might just make the All-Star game for the purpose of, which I wouldn't have a problem with.
Oh yeah, they did that
Like,
with Derek Jeter and.
are there more
Cooper
deserving
Jones.
individuals? Yeah. But it'd be cool to see him go to one last All-Star game. I mean, in his former home at Dodger Stadium,
Yeah.
like, it's only right.
Yeah.
Max Muncy, JD Davis rounds out the top 5. Any takeaways, any complaints?
I don't know. I mean, there's just like
I think the most unfortunate ones are Vlad Jr. and Bo Bichette, which still are two big names. I guess that's not the end of the world.
It looks like Toronto fans really showing out. Like
they are.
Like Alejandro Kirk getting $1 million, Bo Bichette and Vlad Jr. leading, Santiago Espinal being second.
Yeah. I think Ty France is better than Vlad Jr. this year.
Yes.
He'll still make it regardless, probably as a reserve.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him make it as a starter, but Vlad Jr. is still having obviously when you look at it through the lens of last year, it's not very good, but overall he still has a 142 weighted runs created plus.
Yeah.
As for Bo Bichette, he's also having a decent year, excuse me. He's actually no, he really isn't. He has a 104 weighted runs created plus, 1.2 FWAR. There are more deserving individuals out there, mostly Tim Anderson, who isn't qualifying right now, but I would still put him over Bo Bichette.
Well, yeah, he has more wins above replacement.
Yeah. Xander Bogaerts has 2 more wins. Yeah, and a significantly better weighted runs created plus. Yeah, there's no reason Bo Bichette should be above Xander.
Yeah.
Even like Bogaerts even has been better on defense this year, probably to get that money.
Yeah. That's true.
Anyway, that's the All-Star ballot update.
Yeah.
No, I've seen worse.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we're ever going to see a perfect vote from the fans. So, really only 2 noticeable mistakes is not. I think the fans are getting better, but I think there's still a ways to go. I still think we should just end fan voting altogether, for being honest.
Yeah, it should just be us 2, really.
Yeah, honestly. I think we should just bring back the final vote. I think that was cool.
Yeah.
Especially that one day when Twitter was just unmanageable.
I remember when
Xander was going for it like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, and I remember when I was 12 and I was texting like the term like vote A4.
Yep.
To vote for Koji Uehara.
Hashtag High Five City.
Yeah, like
there would always be a hashtag for everyone, but some of them would be like very random. Like Koji's was High Five City, and the other one was like vote for this guy.
Yeah, vote for Xander.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would text like A4 or A5 like 80 times in a night.
Mm-hmm. I remember in I think it was 15. I think Kendrys Morales was up for final vote, and I was like, well, what's even the point? Of course he's gonna win, because the Royals fans there will never be a more legendary stuffing the All-Star ballot performance than Royals fans in 2015.
Yes.
Like, if you look at Kauffman Stadium right now and just over the last like 5 years, and you're like, wow, Royals fans really don't show out. You're wrong. Royals fans show out when the team is good, like more than any other fan base.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like when that team is good, it's a baseball city.
For sure.
The team is never really good. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're good, but when they're good, they're good.
Like all of baseball almost revolted because Omar Infante almost started the All-Star game.
Yeah,
like that's how bad it was. If you need a refresher.
Yeah, when
I feel like we're getting to a point where some people might be too young to remember that.
Yeah, when Robinson Cano and Jose Altuve were also playing second
substantially better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Alcides Escobar started at shortstop that year.
Yeah, that's very
which was just like, what are we doing?
Very funny. Solid.
What a time that was.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who will not be at the All-Star game. It will be, we will not see Anthony Rendon there. He's getting surgery on his right wrist. It will take him out for the rest of the year. I kind of wanted to talk about him because he's just had a very interesting career, and I think this contract could end up being very interesting because, Jeff Passan sent out. I don't know if he had the breaking news or, but I just saw his tweet and he said there's still after this year, there's still 4 years left on this contract, and part of me was like,
that's it.
and well, part of me was like, well, he has 4 years to kind of redeem this contract and like kind of make it good, because
Mm-hmm.
outside of a short 2020 season, it hasn't been very good. I mean, he was doing sort of well this year, but he was, missing time with an injury, and obviously he's going to end up no more games this season. And he's ended up with like one win above replacement. But yeah, Anthony Rendon, he's missing the rest of the year. And what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, that obviously is very unfortunate for the Angels. I just can't believe we're talking about the same thing again, like with not just Rendon, but with the Angels. Like good start of the season, and by June, it just feels like they're out of it, and Rendon is out of it, entirely. I don't. There are a lot of comparisons to the Pujols contract with Rendon. I don't think it's to that point, but
Right.
I mean, this is a bust contract right now, and there's no other way of looking around it. The only good season we've seen out of him in an Angels uni was 2020, when there was a 60-game season.
Yeah, very true. And yeah, like it is very interesting. Like, he 2019 he finished third in the MVP vote after getting MVP votes. Like, I should take a double check. Like, he got MVP votes pretty consistently before that as well. Yeah, he finished third in the MVP vote in 2019. In 2018 he was 11th, and in 2017 he was 6th. And like, there was a point where I think, if you went from like 2016 to 2020, he was like second or third in FWAR, which was pretty nuts. He was just a very consistent player. And after 2020, it seemed like, oh, this seems like a pretty good contract for the Angels. But his problem hasn't necessarily since then been performance, although it's gone down. But it's probably gone down because of this injury, as it was the same injury that took him out for over 100 games last year, and it's the same injury that's taken him out for over 100 games this year. It's a right wrist injury, and if you're an Angels fan, you're almost sort of relieved that this surgery is getting done, because you have to imagine it will solve some sort of aggravation in that right wrist if he gets that surgery on it.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, hopefully these next 4 years are going to be healthy from him if this wrist issue is being solved, and maybe he can get to a productive level. I don't know if he'll ever get back to being worth 35 million a year, where like it's not an overpay, but he could get back to a level where he's a good third baseman and contribute to the Angels team, which, hopefully for them, they get to a competitive situation. But they haven't gotten there yet. But if they have Rendon back at a quality performance level, that could change. But yeah,
it absolutely could.
It's interesting because there were no signs of him being bad up until this injury, really.
I mean, yeah, like everything seemed smooth sailing up until like, what was it, like mid-May when he first went down?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, like you said, this could be the light at the end of the tunnel. And, from 2023 on, Rendon's gonna hopefully have a better chance to redeem himself than he did this year.
Yeah, because we're talking about a guy who from 20, so I'm looking at 2017 to 2020, his B-WAR per 650 plate appearances was 6.4. It's hard for me to imagine him just fall off completely, especially as someone who he's not like the Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera type, where he's not necessarily known for athleticism. Like, he's always been a pretty good defender. He's always been a good hitter, and I think a decent base runner. And I think he can get back to that. And but yeah, it's interesting to see where it could go. But yeah, it is another long list of things that have gone wrong for the Angels in the last month, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rendon out for the year. Pretty prominent pretty prominent player for a while. He's struggled for the last couple years to stay healthy. As I'll get one final stat on Anthony Rendon. Just looking 2017 to 2020. Where did he rank in F4?
I'd say probably like top 10.
He was 6th.
Yeah.
He was behind Mike Trout. I think outs above average kind of changed it up for him because I feel like he was higher before this. Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Alex Bregman, Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, and then Anthony Rendon, and then Aaron Judge, and Nolan Arenado, Christian Yelich, Altuve, Freeman, Bellinger, Real Muto, Goldschmidt, Springer. So yeah, like Rendon was right there, and yeah, this surgery could solve things, or maybe it could be a bad thing. But anyway, some other events in the last week. We had some yes hitters, some no hitters that Miles Mikolas was 1 out away. Tyler Anderson was 2 outs away. Both of them threw over 120 pitches in their outings. What was how did you experience these almost no hitters, and what did you think?
So, for the Mikolas one, I was out to dinner with my friends at a restaurant, and I opened my phone to realize he was like 2 outs away. So I popped on the game on my phone. I saw the second out. I think it was a strikeout, but I could be wrong. And I'm trying to remember, how did the no-hitter? I mean, I remember how it happened. I'm trying to remember who did it. You remember who got the hit? But it was a line drive into center fields that just got over Harrison Bader's head. And yeah, Mikolas, by the way, was at like 120 something pitches.
Yeah, both these guys were
very unfortunate that he went that far for a one hitter.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate.
The no hitter was done by it was Cal Mitchell, who was a rookie on the Pirates, who hit a ground rule double on a line drive to center. A lot of people were saying Bader was playing too far in, that he should have just been back more.
But yeah, if he had a bloop single, it would have
threw 129 pitches for a one hitter. Had one walk, six strikeouts. That's weird. Only one walk for 129 pitches. Must have just had a lot of long at bats.
Yeah, and there were 2 errors as well, so that prolonged the outing as well.
That makes sense. The Pirates were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, despite getting one hit and one walk. That's interesting.
Yeah, very odd.
And was it the next day that Tyler Anderson did it?
I think so.
Yeah, it was. The very next day, Tyler Anderson goes 8 1/3. One hit, of course, being a Shohei Ohtani triple. 2 walks and 8 strikeouts. Very funny that his opposition was Reed Detmers, who was the only pitcher to throw a solo no-hitter this year.
Yeah.
At this point, I honestly forget. Was there a combined no-hitter at some point this year?
I honestly
forget about Mets. Against the Phillies. Yeah, I forget about combined no-hitters if I'm being honest at this point.
They had 6 walks too, and it was like in the middle of April. But they were wearing their black.
They were wearing their black jerseys. I do remember that. I do remember what day it was, ironically, and what I was doing that day.
Yeah,
I was at an event for one of my friends at college, and I checked my phone. I was like, "Oh, the Mets threw a combined no-hitter against the Phillies." And I told a friend of mine who was not interested in baseball, and she was like, "Hell yeah."
Yeah. And to go with the StatCast angle, with Anderson's,
He had 123 pitches, by the way.
Yeah, 123 pitches. Well, this actually includes a hit that Kimbrel allowed that had a 910 expected batting average, but the Angels had a 172 expected batting average on the day. So like very good stuff from Tyler Anderson, because Anderson's on the day had to be like 150 or something like that with expected batting average. That's pretty elite.
It would have been I would have accepted that no-hitter over the Mikolas one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like 8 strikeouts, 2 walks.
Like I'm gonna be honest, during the Mikolas one, I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like there was just like, maybe it was the fact that the Pirates had scored a run. Maybe it was just the fact that it was the Pirates. Maybe it was the fact that he was at 130 pitches. I was like, something about this just doesn't feel right. Like it just doesn't sit right with me, this being a no-hitter.
Yeah. I agree completely. Like it just
the fact that Yadier Molina still hasn't caught a no-hitter is very funny.
That is very funny.
I know that Waka was very close a couple of times, once in 2013, once a bunch of years later, also against the Pirates. I think it was Colin Moran had a single to break one up very late.
Yeah,
he's got to be the best catcher in like the modern era to never catch a no-hitter, right? Like Buster Posey caught a million of them.
Yeah, Posey caught some. Did
Pudge ever catch one?
On all those teams, probably. There's probably some Marlin that in 03.
He caught 2. He caught Kenny Rogers' perfect game. Okay, that makes sense. And he caught Justin Verlander's no-hitter in 2007.
Oh, yeah. The Pirates, by the way, had a 202 expected batting average.
Jason Kendall
on the day.
Yep. Jason Kendall did catch one. You mentioned Ted Simmons.
That was kind of a joke. He's not really a modern one.
Yeah.
He
caught 2. He caught 2 anyway.
If you were a catcher and
you didn't catch a no-hitter throughout the 70s, you're
throughout
pretty
like
bad.
the 60s and 70s, you can't be allowed in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, I mean, the Mikolas one, it didn't feel right. Like it was just, especially when there's one run on the board. If, I know it was not his fault that there were.
I had a tweet ready. I was gonna be like, the Pirates gotta lead all time in like runs in games where they've been no hit.
Oh yeah. The Reds.
Oh yeah, the Reds do a no-hitter too. I forgot about that one.
It was in 8 innings, so I don't know if it
That's
counts.
true. But they did throw one.
They did technically throw one.
Hunter Greene started that game.
Hunter Greene. Yep. All right. So the Anderson one, he had a pretty low expected batting average on the day, and then Ohtani hit the triple. So I guess if you're to allow a hit, it might be to Shohei Ohtani. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess you got to experience that.
That experience a Shohei triple and a near no-hitter. What's the closest thing you've ever been to seeing a no-hitter in person?
Domingo Germán last year.
That's right. Mine was Clayton Kershaw had a perfect game at City through 6 innings.
Nice.
And Curtis Granderson hit a leadoff single.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. For those who don't remember, Domingo Germán threw 7 no-hit innings to start his matchup against the Boston Red Sox. It was July 2021, and he allowed no hits through 7 innings, and the Yankees had a 4-0 lead, and then he allowed a leadoff double to Alex Verdugo, and the Red Sox just went from there and scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and Matt Barnes got the save back when he was a good closer, and the Red Sox won that game 5-4.
Yeah.
And it's funnily enough, the Red Sox, they had the same amount of wins and losses as the New York Yankees in the season. However, they also had one more win against the Yankees than the Yankees had against them. They were 10-9 against the Yankees, and that garnered them home field advantage in the wild card game. And because of that home field advantage, partially because of that home field advantage, they were able to win the wild card game against the New York Yankees, which technically makes it 3 consecutive playoff series wins against the Yankees for the Boston Red Sox. But yeah, that was the last almost. That was like the closest to a no-hitter experience.
That was also one of several comeback wins the Red Sox had against the Yankees that season. You could have picked so many. Like there was that one where they were down to the last strike against I think it was Chad Green and Kike Hernandez roped a 2-run double.
Same series.
Yeah, same series.
Fair enough to say though. I did go to the game before, and the Red Sox blew a 3-0 lead in the 8th inning. They did get a little BABIPs, but
my dad was at that game.
Lead. What?
My dad was at that game.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was tough. That was tough to see.
Yeah, I remember the game that I went to. It was in like it was in like mid to late July of 2015. It was Dodgers Mets. Obviously, I got to see probably the best possible matchup you could have imagined in 2015. Clayton Kershaw versus Bartolo Colon. Like you get the greatest pitcher of the generation, and you get one of the most entertaining pitchers at the time.
Yeah.
Like straight up, when we got the tickets like 2 months early, I was like, if we can see Kershaw versus Colon, like that's the ideal scenario, and we got it, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I can say that I saw Bartolo Colon that day, which was just as special as saying I got to see Clayton Kershaw that day. But
big time.
Yeah, it was a 3-0 game. Both pitchers did pretty well. Obviously Kershaw ended up going the distance. Let me check the actual line, because it was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
2015 Clayton Kershaw, one of the years he had a 2.13 ERA that year, a 1.99 FIP. Casually one of his best seasons that doesn't get remembered as much because the Cy Young race was amazing that year. It was July 23rd. Clayton Kershaw, so the Dodgers won 3-0. Clayton Kershaw, 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 11 strikeouts. Game score of 92.
Yeah.
The Dodgers scored on a Jimmy Rollins home run, and then a Alberto Callaspo walk and a Yasiel Puig sac fly. But anyway, as I was about to say, with this Dodgers Mets game, the historical significance was pretty much rock bottom for the Mets. They fell to only 2 games over 500, which I know that doesn't sound that bad, but they were playing horrendous baseball at this time. And a week later, they got Yoenis Cespedes, and it turned their whole season around. They ended up beating the Dodgers in the NLDS and eventually going to the World Series and falling to the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
So I got to see because I remember when we were doing the history series, you were like, did you get to see any of these teams in person? I was like, yeah, I saw the 2015 Mets.
Yeah, at their
and also the Royals. I saw both teams that year in person.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Red Sox.
Do we want to get into players
to watch? Let's do it.
All right, so now we will get into our Tuesday, June 21, 2022
summer solstice.
Or 2022 summer solstice edition of. Who do you have for us today?
So this is a repeat team, but this guy's been doing very well, and I just had to talk about it. I'm talking about Michael Harris II of the Atlanta Braves, recently called up, skipped AAA, 21 years old. He graduated high school the same year as me. That's very humbling, because I'm out here doing this podcast, and he's out here slashing 346, 368, 580 for a 949 OPS in his major league career. He is also tied for the team lead in outs above average and 24th in majors, despite not eclipsing 200 innings in the fields. Everyone else is at around like 400 to 500. So that's cool.
Wow.
Since June 8th, he is slashing 432, 457, 795 for a 1272 OPS, and is second among qualifiers in F4 at 1.2. That's a pretty good hot streak that he's on. And for the season, this is the most interesting thing that I found. 49.2% of his batted balls have been straight away. They've gone up the middle almost half the time. That is the highest rate among the 371 hitters with at least 50 batted balls this year. And when he goes up the middle, he has a 484 batting average, which ranks third on that list of 371. And he has a 677 slugging percentage, which ranks 24th on that list. And he gets shifted against on 13.1% of his plate appearance. So, when he's not getting shifted, he's taking advantage of that up the middle spot. And that's been paying big dividends for him.
Yeah. Michael Harris II. Yeah, he's emerged pretty well for an already star-studded Braves lineup. My how about that is I believe it's a new team, and it's our team, and it might be a little bit of a basic pick, but I do want to acknowledge his success of late. Nick Pivetta.
Yep.
And he in his last 9 starts has a 1.77 ERA and a 2.87 FIP in 61 innings pitched. He ranks 4th in ERA, 4th in F4, 4th in strikeouts, and 2nd in innings in this 9-start span. And out of 109 pitchers with 100 plus batted balls, his expected WOBA ranks 16th. So, it's not perfectly in line with where his ERA maybe lies. However, it's still very good. 16th out of 109. His expected stats are still very good in this 9-start span. Also, hitters are slugging 308 off his 4-seamer in this span, which is 3rd lowest out of 33 pitchers to throw 300 plus 4-seamers in this span. So 4-seamer working out very good for him. And then overall, completely on the year, he has a 12.0% pop-up rate, which is the highest rate out of 55 pitchers with 200 plus batted balls against this year. And then, I guess just generally with Nick Pivetta is he's kind of carrying the rotation right now. The Red Sox have Nathan Eovaldi and Garrett Whitlock on the IL right now, and oddly enough, as a Red Sox fan, you're kind of looking forward to the Nick Pivetta days, which is not something I've not something I've really said the past couple of years.
No.
But he's doing very well right now. 1.77 ERA in his last 9 starts, and yeah, getting a well-deserved.
How about that?
I don't think it's a basic pick. Maybe it seems like that to you because you've obviously watched all of his starts, but it's a pretty legit pick. We've got. Let me just name off the teams that have not gotten a how about that yet. There's a lot, but it's June, and we haven't done as many shows as last year at this point. But the Diamondbacks, Orioles, Cubs, Reds, Rockies, Royals, Angels, Dodgers, Brewers, Phillies, Pirates, and Nationals still need one.
So that's what, 1/3 of the league?
Yeah, maybe between 15 and 10 more teams.
Yeah,
I think we've got half the league covered for sure.
Yeah. It shouldn't. We took care of all the teams by mid-August last year, I think.
Yeah.
I think the Mets we got in mid-August.
Yeah, we did. It was Aaron Loop was your Mets player.
Yep, Aaron Loop. But ended up getting 18 million in free agency this past off season. So shout out to him.
Good for him.
So now we go from the highs to the lows. We're talking players and subjects that have been underperforming, and it is our 2022 summer solstice edition of
Slightly alarming.
Who do you have for us today?
So today I'm looking at, this is weird because we just spent a good while talking about how great this team has been. And I'm talking about Miles Straw, who has been struggling since May 8th. He is slashing 145, 236, 167 for a 412 OPS and 24 weighted runs created plus. All of those stats, except for OBP, rank dead last among the qualifiers over that span. And also over the span, he has a 20.7% hard hit rate, which is the 3rd lowest among the 113 hitters with at least 100 batted balls. And just for the record, everything I say from here on out is on a list of 113 hitters with at least 100 batted balls. I just rather not keep saying it. Yeah. 45.5% of his batted balls have been either below 0 degrees or above 45 degrees. which is not very good. It's, I think, one of the lowest, or it's one of the highest rates among that list. And when he does hit the ball between 0 and 45 degrees, he has a 255 batting average and a 327 slugging, which might not seem that bad, but they both rank dead last on that list. The next lowest batting average is almost 100 points higher at 348, and the next lowest slugging percentage is at 439, which is more than 100, which is 122 points higher. So the next lowest batting average is 21 points higher than his slugging percentage on batted balls between 0 and 45 degrees since May 8th.
Yeah. Miles Straw not hitting the ball in the right direction and not hitting it hard. So getting a
Slightly alarming.
My slightly alarming is someone who, not a lot of experience in this league, but got some notoriety last year because he had a phenomenal rookie campaign. He finished second in NL Rookie of the Year voting, and if you ask us, he should have finished first. I'm talking about Trevor Rogers, a left-handed pitcher for the Miami Marlins. Overall, he has a 5.83 ERA, 4.90 FIP, and 5.03 expected ERA this year in 58 and 2/3 innings pitched. Overall this year, his ERA ranks 7th worst out of 111 pitchers with 50 plus innings pitched. Also last year, his strikeout minus walk rate was 20.1%. That's one of the things that made him really good last year was his strikeout minus walk rate. He struck out a lot of guys, didn't walk a lot of guys. This year, he's striking out substantially less guys, and he's walking a good amount more. This year, his strikeout minus walk rate is 8.5%. So it went from over 20% to single digits. His whiff rate has also gone from 30.7% to 26.8%. And also a big difference between what he was doing last year and what he was doing this year was last year he had a lot more success on his four-seam fastball than he has this year. I actually forgot to prepare the four-seam fastball numbers from last year, but last year hitters slugged 344 off his slugging with the 362 expected slugging, which is very good for a four-seam fastball. However, this year hitters have a 630 expected slugging on his four-seam fastball. That is the fourth highest expected slugging out of 24 pitchers with 500 plus four-seam fastballs this year. Also, in his last 6 starts, hitters are slugging 784 off his four-seamers, and that is the highest slugging against a four-seamer in that span out of 48 pitchers to throw 200 plus four-seamers. So basically, in layman's terms, his four-seamer has been the worst in baseball during his last 6 starts. And, after finishing second in Rookie of the Year voting last year, a very disappointing sophomore campaign thus far. I definitely think he can turn it around, but right now he is at a
slightly alarming.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for players to highlight for good and bad reasons. Now we'll get into a preview of the week ahead. Part of it has already started. We had a lot of series start already, but there are some good, remainders of series to watch. I mean, we have a good week of baseball. Last night we had a lot of good pitching matchups, as we talked about before the show started. And then series wise, Rays Yankees is in progress. Although the Rays have been struggling recently, and
They have been.
it's hard. It'll be hard for them to get back on track when they're facing the hottest team in baseball. It's funny to call them the hottest team in baseball because it's just been a 2-month hot streak. Meanwhile, we also have Braves Giants. That series started last night. It's going to be a 4-game series. It ended up being a walk-off last night for the Braves. Going to be very competitive, most likely. And Twins Guardians. You have the streaking Guardians versus the division-leading Twins. That's a great series to watch. I think what will end up being a shorter series is going to be Astros Mets. I don't know if this is gonna go. Yeah, this is gonna be a 2-gamer. But 2 division leaders. And a rematch of the 1986 NLCS, maybe. I don't know. Used to be in the same league.
Dude, Chris Russo is going to be freaking out over that series.
Yeah. We need to bring Nolan Ryan back. Nolan Ryan versus Tom Seaver is that was the best. No, actually no. Seaver wasn't really around in '86. He was on the Red Sox that year. Also White Sox Blue Jays. White Sox actually won last night. That is at guaranteed rate. And Brewers Cardinals. That's one of the most important series to watch. As you know, they're fighting for an NL Central top spot right now. I know it's early in the season, but that's probably going to continue throughout the season. So these games are very important for those 2 teams. So definitely got to watch out for that. So lots of good series to watch for sure.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of good matchups. A lot of them were last night, but today on Tuesday, we got Tony Gonsolin versus Tyler Mahle in Dodgers Reds. Both of them have been pitching extraordinarily well as of late. We have Bo Brisky facing the Red Sox for the Tigers. He's been very under the radar lately. Nestor Cortez will be facing the Rays today at Tropicana. Anthony Descalfani versus Spencer Strider will be facing each other in Giants Braves. Strider's been a pretty big breakout pick. Joe Ryan is he making his return from the IL against the Guardians in this one?
I would imagine so.
Has he pitched recently? Let me check. Oh yeah, he did. He pitched on June 14th against the Mariners. Didn't do too well, but he'll be pitching tonight. We have Trevor Williams versus Jose Urquidy in Mets Astros. Kyle Gibson versus Martin Perez in Phillies Rangers.
The Kyle Gibson revenge game.
Yes, it is. Jack Flaherty will be going for the Cardinals against the Brewers at American Family Field. Zach Gallen and Sean Manaea will be facing each other in Diamondbacks Padres. That's a good one. And the matchup of the night comes from Blue Jays White Sox, Kevin Gausman versus Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
That's saying one there. On Wednesday, you have Carlos Carrasco and Luis Garcia facing each other in Mets Astros. Ross Stripling versus Lucas Giolito in Blue Jays White Sox. Zach Wheeler versus John Gray in Phillies Rangers. Madison Bumgarner will be facing the Padres. You have Pablo Lopez facing the Rockies at Miami. Tyler Wells will be facing the Nationals in Baltimore for the Battle of the Beltway. He's been pitching well lately. You have Keegan Thompson pitching for the Cubs against the Pirates at PNC. He pitched well last time out against the Braves. Tarek Skubal versus Michael Wacha in the finale of Red Sox Tigers at Fenway, I believe. Jordan Montgomery versus Shane Baz at Tampa Bay. You have Tyler Anderson versus Luis Castillo in the Dodgers Reds series in Cincy. That's matchup of the night. Tristan McKenzie versus Sonny Gray in Guardians Twins. Adam Wainwright versus Eric Lauer in Cardinals Brewers. George Kirby versus Paul Blackburn in Mariners A's. Shohei Ohtani will be going for the Angels against the Royals at Angel Stadium. And matchup of the night will come from Giants Braves. Carlos Rodon versus Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one. So then on Thursday, Alex Wood versus Kyle Wright in the afternoon game of Giants Braves. Justin Steele versus Jose Quintana in Cubs Pirates. That's an underrated matchup. You will have, I'll be definitely paying attention to this one. Robbie Ray versus Frankie Montas in Mariners A's. Those are 2 pitchers on my F4 team. And matchup of the day comes from Dodgers Reds. Clayton Kershaw versus Hunter Green.
I guess new blood versus middle age to
34.
I can't call Clayton.
No,
I know Kershaw's been good for a very long time, but he's not old.
He's 30. He's almost the same age as Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, that's hilarious. It's just funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't be funny.
Yeah.
You don't want me to laugh.
Yeah.
So that is it for this edition of the show. We will be doing a different version of the show later in the week, right?
Yeah,
Possibly.
If you enjoyed our trade deadline show last year, this has nothing to do with the trade deadline, but we will be back in the same location in Cape Cod, Mashpee, Massachusetts. Probably joined by at least one guest, maybe multiple.
Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, a fun podcast expected. But yeah, so we hope you enjoyed this one. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and want to watch the conversation as it happens, go to our YouTube channel. It is called Above Replacement Radio, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Also have just general good clips from some interviews we've done as well. So
yeah, also check out. Thank you to Jeimer Candelario once again for coming on this show.
Yes, for sure.
Quick interview, but
yeah, for sure.
It was an interview.
He talked to you and gave those answers. And if you want to follow us on social media, follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Danielle on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_Curran, and follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio for all the show needs. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you on probably Friday.
Yeah.
Where we will be talking all the happenings in Major League Baseball once again. See you then.